It's time for another of those videos looking into the origin of a London place name. Today, Strand. Strand is a street in the West End, running from Trafalgar Square and Charing Cross Station to Aldwych. As such, it's part of London's entertainment district and even has its own song, Let's All Go Down the Strand, a popular music hall ditty covered by artists as diverse as Harry Faye, Stanley Holloway and Blur. It's often called The Strand, and I myself am guilty of this, but it's actually just Strand. That common mistake might actually be a clue to the origin of the street name. It's not named after a person or a place, but what it was, the Strand. A strand is another word for the seaside or the waterfront, and from its origin with the founding of Roman London until the 1860s, that's what Strand was, the waterfront. The grand buildings along here, Somerset House, the Savoy and the like, were once very desirable riverfront properties on the Thames. In fact, here in Victoria Embankment Gardens you can see one of the original water gates. By the middle of the 19th century, though, being on the waterfront was not such a desirable thing. London dumped its raw sewage directly into the river. The city also drew a lot of its drinking water from the river, so it's no surprise that epidemics were fairly common. It was, in epidemiological terms, pretty gross. In fact, many of the aristocratic residents of the area had moved away from the river to the more salubrious surroundings elsewhere in the West End. Several of the grand old houses had been demolished, and now Strand had gained a reputation as a criminal haunt. What we'd now call regeneration occurred in the 1860s. Between 1865 and 1870, Victoria Embankment was built. This was in large part intended to clean up the river, holding an intercepting sewer. But it also had a road on top and the district railway to combat traffic problems. In 1864, Charing Cross Station arrived. Hotels and theatres moved in, and so Strand took its place as one of the West End's most famous streets. The sort of place to which people came from miles around to enjoy a night out. And that's what it is now. Of course, it's still not a million miles from the waterfront, but I doubt your average Londoner thinks of the river when they think of Strand. Well, I hope you enjoyed today's video. If so, a like would be much appreciated, as would a subscription if you'd like to see more. I would like, as ever, to thank my donors on Ko-fi and Patreon for your generous support. You are the Watergate to my mansion. And I'll see you all again very soon. Cheerio. So the basic plot of this is that Marty discovers that his mother is going to be in Howard the Duck, so he has to use time travel to stop her.